What is going on, everybody? Welcome back here to the channel. Welcome back here to another video. So if you saw what I posted previously in my last video, or if you watched any of my shorts that I've done, I officially have shirts for Trigger Society. So I have the Trigger font here in the front and then here on the back. And then we got the big Trigger Society full logo here on the back. Now, I've mentioned this before in the past, we print these shirts ourselves. We don't outsource to other companies to make X amount of shirts, like 200-300 shirts, and then have them sent to us. No, we print the shirts ourselves because my wife and I own our own apparel company, Freedom Seed Apparel Company. So we own that company, so we have all the tools and everything we need to print shirts ourselves. So officially, we do have the Trigger Society shirts, and the best way that you can support myself, the brand, and the channel is by clicking on the link on the post here in the description. Pick yourself up a shirt, and I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start this video in the car today because it is hot as balls outside. I work outside for a living, and I was already sweating all day in my truck. Cleaned off, got all nice and clean, stepped outside, and I already have swamp ass again. I'm not sure anybody actually wanted to know that bit of information about myself and my current situation, but you know, now you know. All right, so for today, in today's video, if you saw by the title and the thumbnail of the video, I've seen not actually a lot, hardly, actually I don't think I've actually seen any lately of any talk, any posts when it comes to power outers. It usually comes down to superchargers, turbo kits, all that kind of stuff when it comes to like big horsepower numbers. Now, I haven't really seen a whole lot of talk or anything done when it comes to doing nitrous. And I think, not all cases, but I think some of those cases comes down to the fact that not a lot of people are knowledgeable when it comes to doing nitrous on any kind of application, whether it's a Mustang or anything. So it comes down to maybe the knowledge factor, and they're scared because they see the stories and everything about engines blowing, catastrophic failure with just about anything that can happen with nitrous, which is true, that does happen. But I have ran nitrous on every non-boosted car that I take that back. I ran nitrous on a turbo Eclipse back when I was in my import days back in high school. But I've ran nitrous on just about every application I've owned, and I've never had a single issue. So I think it just comes down to your knowledge about it, how you have it tuned, and what you need to go along with owning and installing and properly using a nitrous kit on your car. So I wanted to just go over the 5 main things that you need to have that is an absolute must for anybody that would like to get nitrous but they're just not sure about it. Because like I said, I haven't ever had any issues about it. And another reason why I'm making this video is because, like I said before, I was thinking about going twin turbos, which is still about 90% certain that's the route I'm going to go. But if I decided to go another route, I would like to go with spray. And I think I like nitrous. I love how it feels. I like how it engages. I like having a purge kit. It's fun. And if you use it properly, it's fine. So I want to just find a nice place to park that's in the shade because it's hot as balls, and kind of talk to you about and discuss what you need to properly use nitrous. Gotta love the sound of that Corsa Extreme though. Corsa Extreme factory headers. I don't have aftermarket headers to make it god-awful, obnoxiously loud. I think I can add the Corsa resonators to just tone down the rasp a little bit. That's something I might do, but I don't even think the rasp is that bad on these Extremes. I know I might say otherwise if I had long tube headers, but as of now, I think it sounds good. All right, so I'm not 100% knowledgeable when it comes to everything, when it comes down to like the technicalities of nitrous, like how to properly tune it, because I don't tune. There's people that I trust that take care of that kind of stuff for me, like you and everybody else. So I obviously don't know everything, but I've ran it enough and I know enough to at least share with you the knowledge that I know to use it and not blow up your shit. So there's many different options for nitrous kits to choose from. There's Nitrous Express, which is pretty popular, Nitrous Outlet, there's Zex, there's the NOS kits. There's tons and tons of kits to use and to choose from. Me personally, I've used in the past, the most recent one I had a Zex kit. That's Z-E-X, not what you think I said. It comes in a purple, like a shiny purple bottle. I ran that in a V6. I had a V6, a 2014 3.7 V6. I had nitrous on that thing. I ran 100 shot on that thing with just exhaust and a nitrous tune on pump gas on 93. And that thing was keeping up with factory, if not slightly modified 1314 Coyotes. It ran on street tires. That thing ran a 12.7, 12.6 with a 100 shot on it. And that's with slipping and all that kind of stuff. So I had a tune on that. I think I had an MPT. MPT? Is that what it is? MPT tune for the nitrous on that car. And again, I probably went through 50, 60 passes in that thing. I never had any issues. But there was a lot of things that I never had on that thing that I should have had, because I ran into some issues that could have been avoided if I did have these specific things. And the number one thing, besides the nitrous bottle, and we'll get to that in a second, the nitrous bottle. Now, you could go, the main choice to choose from, like the standard, I guess, would be a 10-pound bottle. The 10-pound bottles, they usually go in the trunks. So 10-pound bottles, there's a lot of different places to stick them. You could probably throw it there in the back, or if you don't have your spare tire, which I do, it can go down where the spare tire is at, or if this is strong enough, you could mount it to the top of that. I actually had two at like a V shape. I had two 10-pound bottles with a line kind of fed in together. The reason for that is because it just double the nitrous, and it's less that I have to fill up the tanks, because that's another thing you got to keep in mind is the cost to fill up the nitrous tanks. I haven't really found places here yet in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that have nitrous fill stations. So if anybody that's watching this that is knowledgeable on places around my area that fills nitrous, drop a comment and let me know, because I'm curious in case that is something that I decide to run. So 10-pound bottle is what comes with your standard kit, and you get the bottle, you get the braided lines, you get the switches, all the wiring hardware and everything like that. The standard kit is usually a dry or a wet shot. And what does that mean? A dry shot is you install it. Here, I'll show you under the hood here in a second, but it's installing it and spraying it without the added fuel going in at the same time. So dry kits usually, like I'll use this Zex kit for example. You just have a tap and you just drill into your intake tube here, and it sprays just straight nitrous, not fuel in at the same time. A wet kit is nitrous and fuel, kind of like the shape of like a V, I guess you could say. It sprays in both nitrous and fuel at the same time, so you get the proper amount of nitrous and fuel going in at the same time. Another option to go with, which I think is a better option, is the plate kit. The plate kit goes here between the intake here and the throttle body. It's just like a little thin plate, and it's more of an even spray. It sprays a lot more even. It's more direct, and in a lot of ways I believe it's a safer way to go about nitrous, especially with a higher shot of spray that you choose to go with. So some of the additional things that you should pick up along with your nitrous kit. Nitrous kits usually run, depending on the brand and all that kind of stuff, can range anywhere from like $700 to like $1,000 roughly, just for the kit itself. But the things that you need to get on top of that, the purge comes with it. But I'm not sure if a purge kit, purge valve comes with the kit. So if your kit doesn't have a purge valve or a purge kit, you have to have a purge that bleeds out the lines. It gets all the air and excess nitrous out of the lines. And two, it looks cool. When you spray it up either up the hood, just like a white cloud, or a lot of people take it and they drill a hole here in the nose of the horse, and it's like it's coming out of its nose. Most kits come with the purge kit. So if it doesn't have a purge kit, pick up a purge kit. That's one. Those usually run about 120, 150 bucks, not that expensive. And then secondly, most importantly, is a window switch. What is a window switch? So a window switch allows the nitrous to come on at a certain RPM range, because as soon as you open the bottle in the trunk and then you flip your arming switch, I know a lot of people with these S550s, they put all their switches and stuff in here. So if this is a route I decided to go, nice little hidden compartment, stick it right there. So you have your arming switch and your purge button and all that shit you could stick in there. So a window switch, you can program it to have the nitrous come on at specific RPM ranges, because if you don't, as soon as you mash your foot on the floor, you hit full throttle, it engages and there's no backing out of it until you let your foot off the gas. I had an experience with that without using a window switch. I was power braking off the line because it was an automatic I had, and it was a 100 shot at the track. It was an unprepped surface, and the nitrous was engaging before I even took off. So as soon as I was taking off, the tires were spinning, smoke everywhere, havoc. This car was spinning, going sideways, and if there was a crowd around me, I would have hit a crowd. I would have been one of those guys that hit a crowd. But luckily, it was an open airport, and there wasn't anything around me besides the car that I was up against. Luckily, I didn't hit him. So if anybody that is back in Washington that is watching this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. There used to be a video of it on YouTube a while ago, but it's no longer available. Anyway, to avoid pulling something awesome like that, the window switch, you program it to start between, I don't know, 35 or 4,000 RPM. So even if you are full throttle, it won't engage till you hit that RPM band, and you can actually cut it off too at a specific RPM band anyway, so you don't bounce off your rev and have catastrophic issues with that also as well. So that is probably the most important option to go with: the bottle, the whole kit, the purge, and a window switch. All right, so I'm here back in the car. I'm picking this video up in the car because the camera was just getting super hot, and I wanted to just not continue on outside with it being so hot and risk the camera shutting itself off because it's too hot. So we're gonna go for a drive real quick. And so the progressive controller and the window switch, another very important thing that I think anybody should have. Let me put this thing back in sport mode. And this is going to tie everything together, and it is the most obvious, and it's the most important to avoid any sort of catastrophic failure when it comes to doing any amount of nitrous application in your car, and that is selecting and finding the proper person or company to tune the car. Some companies won't tune nitrous, but there still is companies and shops around that do tune for nitrous. Before you decide to go the route for nitrous, make sure you, number one, have an area around you that has a fill station that can fill nitrous, because if you're going to spend probably close to $2,000, if not more, on everything with the nitrous kit, the purge, the progressive controller, a window switch, a tuner, but you can't fill your bottles because there's no stations around you to fill your bottles. So obviously make sure you have all that around you. This Mustang up here, I think it's a performance pack. Looks like James, but it's not him. James, if you're watching this, if you saw that car, what he did with his performance pack spoiler, he blacked it out. You should do that along with blacking out your roof. I think it would look super nice. All right, and the fifth thing technically it's 6, but I would say 5 because most nitrous kits come with some sort of purge kit. So this should be number 5, and that is getting a bottle heater or a bottle warmer. So what is a bottle heater? So bottle heater, you need to have the bottle at a certain temp for the nitrous to flow and to engage and to work properly. To get that at that optimal temperature, a bottle heater, it's like a blanket, it goes over it, it's electrical, it gets it up to a certain temp. You can get a gauge and everything like that to throw on it to make sure everything is at the proper pressure and the proper temp for the nitrous. Without that, without having a bottle heater, without having a progressive control, without having a window switch, your nitrous isn't going to flow and work properly. It's not going to be as effective, and 2, it's not as safe. So, and then, like I said, make sure the area that you live in has areas to fill your nitrous, because eventually you're going to run out. Now, if you're doing quarter mile, what the hell is going on here? Okay, semi, you're just blocking the damn. That was smart. Let's just pull out and block traffic. By adding those additional things, you're going to be a lot safer. It's going to be more effective, and you're going to avoid any sort of catastrophic issues when it comes to using the nitrous. And like I said at the start of this, I think a lot of people steered away from a nitrous kit or any sort of application because if it's not ran properly, you can have issues. Now, a good safe kit, horsepower shot to go with on these Coyotes, I would say safe bet is to stick right around 100 shot. Now, I've seen people run upwards of 150, 125 shot. It's been done. Again, it comes down to who's tuning it and how well it's tuned and how effective and everything. If you have all those things I talked about for your car, if you have all of those things, like I said, you could do 150 shot. It's been done without having any problems. But I would at least start off trying to do 100 shot with proper tune and everything like that, proper tires. You can easily be in the 10s with that. You can easily run 10s in the quarter mile with 100 shot. It's been done. Just depends on how your shit's tuned. Flipping a bitch. All right, well, that's all I got. I wanted to give my thoughts, perspective, and everything to safely run a nitrous kit and to be the most effective. So I wanted to make this video because I haven't seen a whole lot of talk about it and a whole lot of videos. And I think if I did decide to go nitrous, I think it'd be cool because there's just not a lot of content on it, especially going drag racing at the track and stuff like that. Positive with having a nitrous kit is it is significantly cheaper. Going supercharger, twin turbos. The downside of having a nitrous kit is you don't have it all the time unless your bottle's in your trunk or the back seat, wherever you decide to stick it, and it's armed and it's on and your foot's mashed on the floor. So, but I just think I like it. It is something I'm considering I might use. It is safe and effective if it's done properly. But you guys have a good one. If you guys are watching and you're not subscribed, please do me a favor, drop a comment and drop a like, hit subscribe, pick yourself up a shirt. I'll put a link in the description. You guys have a good one, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.